And welcome back to the 5th annual. We're at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Joel Myers, Kellen Winslow, Artie Gigantino, Eric Clemens. And a muggy night now. Can Iowa State get back in it?
I think they can, and the reason I do believe they can, is because of this man right here. This is a determined coach. He was an offensive lineman at the University of Wisconsin. He's been knocked around in his life. He is a determined man. He's going to get this team going again.
Lands Young waiting for the kickoff. It's going to be Young. He had a great return before, 50 yards, same side, looking for a crease, and he won't find it. Well, the indecision cost him. Kept the wheels spinning, but wasn't headed in the right direction.
It always does. When you come down that field, you've got to pick a lane. Either you hit the return mark or you pick one of your own, but you cannot hesitate, especially against a team like Florida State with all this speed. They'll close on you like a bad dream.
You know what? It's called north and south, guys. You don't want to run east and west. You want to run north and south when you're returning kickoffs.
But what if the stadium is facing east and west?
It doesn't matter. It still go north and south.
You still go north and south.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That was funny.
Seneca Wallace, 9 of 15 with 1 picked off, returned for a score. He had 123 yards passing in the first half. Hiawatha Rutland, who came into the third series. Had a touchdown run of 10 yards with the first try of the second half. And like a pinball, almost 5 up to the 20. Banged down by Claudius Osei, the rubberback.
When you see Florida State has a linebacker walked up into the line of scrimmage, the offense from Iowa State will audible to an inside run in an attempt to hit a seam.
Little hurry up, no huddle action. First time we've seen it. Wallace puts it up to grabs. Man, what a knockaway by Rufus Brown. He went for Lane Danielson, and they're very fortunate throwing into that double coverage. It wasn't picked off.
Yeah, the two defensive backs kind of knocked each other off the ball, but they had a better shot at the football than the receiver did, Danielson.
Rufus Brown made a nice break on the ball, the junior out of El Paso, 5'9", 185, but extremely fast, extremely athletic, and can get up in the air and take the ball out of the air.
They tried to go no huddle, Artie, and catch Florida State off guard like they did just before the half with that touchdown.
Keep 3rd and 5 early at the outset of the second half. Flag down to the play. And Wallace overshoots his man, looking for Montgomery. Rufus Brown, a former option quarterback you were just talking about, former option quarterback in high school in El Paso. Looked like he had it.
Well, Rufus Brown was surprised that the ball got to him, and he was only able to get one hand up. Let's see what the call is.
Illegal formation on the offense. They only had 6 men on the line of scrimmage at the snap. Penalty refused. 4th down.
Well, Iowa State all pumped up. Coming out of the locker room, has it for only 45 seconds and 3 snaps before they give it away. That really hurts. So you game plan and you scheme and everything else in the locker room and get them fired up and then give it right away. Probably good field position for Florida State.
It's not the way to get back into this ball game by going 1, 2, and 3 and out.
Yelk will punt to PK Sam. What a beauty. Open field tackle, and what a job by Lane Danielson on special teams to get Sam at the 30. So the starting wide receiver, and we see more and more in college football, starters on special teams.
Danielson does a great job of coming downfield, but Sam really helps him out. He's trying to get back to a wall instead of coming outside and realizing he doesn't have a play. Luckily, he doesn't get his foot caught up under there for an injury. But Sam was trying to get back to a designed play. Danielson didn't let him do that. He should have come to the outside and taken what he could get.
Yeah, that was just good coverage, though, by Iowa State. He's doing a great job of covering kicks, especially punts.
But he has so much room to the outside, Artie. You got to go with the flow.
Ball was in the air too long.
Junior from Beaufort, South Carolina, Greg Jones gets the call. Cracked after he gets 5. The tackler took him for 2 more. That's Brandon Brown, the weak side linebacker, a sophomore from Houston's Westfield High School.
It almost seems like, Joel, both teams are trying to feel each other out a little bit here at the beginning of the second half. Not trying to make a big mistake, obviously not going for a big play, but just get back into the rhythm and the flow of the game.
200-pound Jones. And when I say pound, he goes at about 250. They're top heavy on the right side. He tried to crack it back the other way. Didn't work to the weak side. No gain on the carry. What great gang tackling. But the tailbacks of Florida State, not a bad combination. Maddox and Jones.
Maddox, the smaller of the two, showing a lot of quickness and elusiveness, the ability to cut back. Gets to the outside, gets the ball in the end zone, while Greg Jones, more of a straight-ahead runner. Good speed, good vision to the outside. The ability, once he sees the hole, to accelerate, keep good balance, and get into the end zone. Just kind of sniffs it out.
They even got the redshirt freshman Willie Reed in there at the end of the first half, and he had peeled off a couple of nice ones. Big third down defensively for Iowa State, down by 17. Jones, will he get to the marker? Yes, he will. He knew what he had to do. Boy, did he know the line of scrimmage that he had to get to. The first down, the 40, he got there.
One of the benefits of having great wide receivers is this secondary plays a little bit looser. You play off a little bit, which opens up the underneath passing game. And I think Florida State tonight is doing an excellent job of getting the ball to the backs out in the flat as the secondary from Iowa State worries about those wide receivers.
Give Ricks the credit because he made the decision quickly. Not a great throw to the back in the flat. Could have led him a little bit more, but he got it to him quickly so he can pick up the first down.
Ricks 10 of 14, 133 yards passing. From the 42, another first down for the Seminoles. The deep ball. Gardner's there. Banged away from Talman Gardner by the combo of Atif Austin and Mark Timmons. And it looked like he was going to come down with it.
Gardner is unbelievable. He runs a 4.3. He's the leading receiver from a year ago, coming back into this lineup.
You watch Ricks as he drops back in the pocket. He's got that right knee a little bit bandaged, but he steps into the pocket. You see how far he dropped that arm? He's got to get that arm up higher, get that ball on top. If he does that, it's a better line of flight to the receiver. He has an easier chance of catching it. He's got a tendency, Joe, to drop that ball and then try to get it up, and it doesn't come off smoothly all the time.
But that was a good throw.
That was not a good throw.
It was catchable.
He did not have pressure. He had time to make a throw.
Illegal substitution on the offense.
Dead ball foul.
My apologies to the official for talking while he was making a call, but this man to my right here was interrupting me, Artie. That was a terrible throw, Artie. He did not have any pressure. He could have stepped up and made a much better throw if he doesn't drop that ball, that little hitch type move. He can't do that.
Catchable. It's a catchable ball.
2nd and 15. I feel like Mills Lane in here. Jones and Maddox will stay in the backfield.
I'm going to go back and take another look at his motion.
You know, two backs in the backfield this time, trying to maximize the protection. The tight end from Florida State, not in the game. 3 wide receivers, 2 backs in the backfield.
Take a look at that motion after this play, Artie.
2nd and long. Little circle pattern through Jones. They fit him to the boundary. So they chip away, get about 7-8 yards out of the play, but back to the form of Ricks.
Right here, watch this arm as it drops down. The ball is up right now in good position. Watch him drop it down. Stop it right there. You don't have to drop the ball right there to make a throw. A good release is you keep it high, you throw it. That little motion right there is the reason why that ball is not complete.
Let me give you a little advice. Don't coach a great thrower. Let him throw the ball naturally.
Somebody will make that adjustment along the way.
You coach him too much, I think you adjust him too much. It's not the same.
3rd and 8. Ricks in trouble. Will he get there? No. A stop for Iowa State. And Ricks really upset, like they did something into the backfield to get to him.
Free safety blitz that time. Mark Timmons, number 18, just missed Ricks in the backfield. When you're coming hard as a blitzer, the hardest thing sometimes is to sack a stationary quarterback because you're going so fast and he just sidesteps you. Dan McCartney has got his defense playing fired up right now.
Ricks was complaining. He thought that his face mask had been grabbed on that play. That was his complaint.
They almost get to the punt by Gwaltney. Todd Miller is going to stay away from it. And it takes a great Florida State high. He didn't get up there and call for the fair catch. And a disappointing exchange for Iowa State. When they have it, they're going to be back at their own 5-yard line.
from your friendly neighbors.
Ballistic in theaters Friday, September 20th. And in the background, the Plaza here in Kansas City. This is such a great little town. We love coming here.
And you love eating the barbecue when we are here.
I hit it already twice.
Barbecue, the steaks, it doesn't matter.
Hiawatha Rutland. Boy, he's an up-and-down guy, isn't he? 6 feet even, 210 pounds. Some guys run low. He runs straight up and down.
Because he's physical and he's got confidence in himself that he can run through the tackle of a would-be safety coming up. That time, Claudius Osei, the safety from Florida State, was the 8th man in the box, made the tackle in the hole.
3 yards on the first down carry. Iowa State just desperate for a first down due to the field position. 4 minutes gone in the second half. We knew we'd hear it before too long. Now you're not in the line of close. Seneca Wallace trips like he came back and caught the foot of one of his linemen.
That's exactly what it looked like, and you know those things happen in games.
Big bad break for Iowa State.
Watch what happens here. You see the guy coming across in motion here is the tight end, but as he steps back, the left guard, big number 69, Dwayne Johnson, kind of bangs into him, and he almost handed the ball off. He started to hand the ball off, and that was a bad choice. When you go down, you keep the ball, you secure the ball.
So from bad to worse for Iowa State. Now third and a little more than 11. Wallace out of his own end zone. And he's got Danielson. What a grab at the 35. First down to the 40. B.J. Ward. Claudius Osei converging over the shoulder lane. Danielson.
Danielson does a great job at the line of scrimmage of escaping the defensive back. He gets to the inside. See him hold the seam. He held that route up the middle. The defensive back never looked back when he saw the receiver react to the ball. But he did a great job of keeping it up the seam, giving the quarterback the proper angle to make a throw.
Now movement of the offensive line. The dead ball foul most likely coming up against the offensive line on the left side. In fact, fired early. The tackle, Casey Shelton.
You know, both teams, I think, if they should throw the football down the field like that a little bit more.
I've heard that somewhere.
5-yard penalty.
Have you heard that, Joe?
First down.
Never.
That's new, Artie. Thank you.
No, I'm serious.
That's insightful.
Both teams wanted to do that
throw it down
coming
the
into
field.
the game, and they never did in the middle of the field.
I do like the use of the seams. We've seen the
That's what I'm
boundaries
talking about.
more than the seams.
You've got to get the ball up the field, take a shot down the middle. Seneca Wallace did a great job of throwing that ball on time and not allowing the free safety chance to drift over.
How was his form when he threw it, Kellen?
It was good form. He kept the ball up high.
Thank you.
First and 15 of the mark off of 5. I'm catching some friendly fire up here. Nice maneuver, Hiawatha Rutland spinning and gets the 5 back.
You get touchy after a while, don't you?
With a timeout on the floor. Well, the Best Damn Sports Show period, All-Star Summer continues. It's every weeknight at 8 and 11. Don't forget about it. Join us for the Best Damn Sports Show period. It's an All-Star Summer on Fox Sports Net. Hurry up offense for Seneca Wallace. Will work this time on the flare, in the flat. Hiawatha Rutland can't make the first guy miss. What a nice open field tackle by Michael Boulware, the younger brother of the Ravens' Peter Boulware, a junior from Columbia, South Carolina.
And there's the guy that's responsible for this Florida State defense, Mickey Andrews. He's in his 19th year as a defensive coordinator. Now is the associate head coach, one of the truly great defensive coaches in the entire United States.
It's a shame he doesn't look fired up at all.
No, he is a fired up
He's
guy.
not into this game at all.
Third and about 8. First down, the grab, and I believe he got enough. The surge takes him for the first down. What a move at the end of the play by Jamal Montgomery. And he was aware of the marker on the field.
This is a good job now of mixing up plays by the Iowa State offense. You're going to see a Montgomery come down the field, fights to get free, comes back to the inside, and makes the catch. A highly recruited receiver from Long Beach, California, now doing well for the Cyclones.
Cyclones get in the end zone. It could be a very interesting second half. Out of the gun, Seneca Wallace has a man with a big cushion on the near side, Jack Whitford. That's a long throw across the field.
It's a long throw across the field. Seneca Wallace is he's got good form. We've got a flag down on the field. Let's take a look here at Seneca Wallace. We showed earlier of Rick's run the ball. Now watch Seneca. Keeps the ball up, makes the throw, drops it just a tad, but he comes Artie right back over the top, delivers the ball, follows through with his shoulder and his arm motion, brings that leg through, puts the ball right on the money. That's why he's so accurate.
Illegal formation.
5-yard penalty from
The penalty
Still first
on
down.
Iowa State. It is their third, only their third of the contest.
Joel?
Good to know our friends are watching down at Comcast Cable, Tallahassee, and also Fox Sports Net Florida.
Excuse me, Joel, but when you substitute so much and you have so many multiple formations, sometimes, Kellen, you have a problem getting lined up. And that's what's happened a little bit for both teams tonight. That's why there's been so many illegal formations.
On that same play, that last play, Artie, Florida State ran a guy in late. There was a no factor in the play because he just came on the field a little bit too late.
Fake the reverse with Danielson. Hiawatha and Rutland, maybe 2 at the most. So much slower start to the second half, at least offensively, than we saw to the first half. Both teams have had it and punted. Now the second possession of the second half for Iowa State, a second and long. Lifted up on the left side, maybe the guard, Dwayne Johnson.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That is simply a reaction to the speed of Florida State. Now, they play too deep. They rotate linemen in and out, linebackers. They just keep coming at you. Iowa State is not that deep at the offensive line, although they do have some experience, and that takes a toll. You know, you got to get off that ball and get set. You just keep bringing in fresh legs and keep running them at them.
That takes away options for Iowa State. The Markovs now at second. At 18. 3 wide receivers for Seneca Wallace. Good idea. He's got great feet. Hasn't used it yet, and now does for big yardage. Gets 16. Shy of the first down by 2. Augustin made the stop.
This whole thing starts with a left-handed snap from center by center Zach Butler. Seneca sees it. Butler's doing a great job of blocking, getting out. The hole opens up inside. Florida State is dropping off into deep zone. Seneca takes off. This is the threat Florida State was nervous about. You're seeing Seneca Wallace right now at his very best.
It's only the third time he's tried to carry it tonight. Critical third and deuce. Hiawatha Rutland lunges and gets it down to the 38. Took a long time, that zigzag, but it worked.
You know, we made the comment about the left-handed snap and shotgun by Zach Butler, but when he's in a stance here and the quarterback's up underneath him, he does it with his right hand. This guy does it both ways. Right hand when the quarterback's up underneath him, left hand when it's in a shotgun. He's a versatile center.
Well, he is the emotional pulse of the team,
he is,
as their coaches told us.
and a good guy.
Banging his way, Rutland into the secondary, close to another first down. And all of a sudden, even though it's a 17-point lead for Florida State, there's a shift in the momentum.
You take a look at Rutland. He's a back that seems to get stronger as the game goes on. Just 3 carries in the first half for 38 yards, 36 for the touchdown. Makes a great cut to get back to the inside once he was cut off from the outside, and has good balance to get that ball upfield. Does a good job, Joel and Artie, protecting that football. Tucks it in real nice and tight.
Gets a break as Michael Wagner takes over. The bull of a back, almost 250 pounds. They need less than 2. Wagner won't get it. Tripped up. He was torpedoed to the backfield. It'll be third and a yard. Knifing through Robert May, the senior from Waukegan, Illinois.
Both offenses have seemed to be a little bit more conservative here in the second half. And what Dan McCarney and his offensive coaches want to do is try to wear down this Florida State defense a little bit and give his defense some rest so they can run around when their time comes to come back on the field.
Rutland's back in there.
Right behind you.
Third down. Rutland makes a miss, but I don't know if he got the marker. Did he get to the first down? He may be just inches shy.
It will be, Joel, and I'm never wrong on these things. It's about no, seriously, it's about a half a foot short.
3 centimeters?
Whatever, I mean half a foot.
It's just short. Whatever it is, it's short.
It's short. Okay, if you're Dan McCartney now, Kellen, what do you do?
I'm going to go for the field goal.
Well, he doesn't have a long kicker. Yelk has been blocked. The other young man, Beneke, told us maybe 40-42 is his distance.
I say you go for it, and I think that's what he'll do.
And do they have the first down?
Artie, I think you might be wrong here.
No, Kellen, I think I'm right. Look at that, Kellen, right there.
3 centimeters.
Exactly right.
I apologize,
Thank you
Artie.
very
I don't
much.
do this often. I must come out of the studio and apologize because I would never apologize in the studio.
I don't want to brag here, but I'm on a roll. We're going to go for it.
Can I get a replay of the booth? I want to live this moment again.
I want our fans to, they could just see Artie in the booth. What's that, a link and a half? That's a link and a half short. He's going to go for it. Does he go play action, go over the top?
No, he goes right at him.
I'd have the quarterback take it.
I tell you what, I applaud what he's doing here. I applaud what Iowa State's doing. This is an opportunity to show the nation where you're at as a football program. In other words, I approve of it, Kellen.
I didn't know. I wasn't sure if you were on the fence or not, if you wanted to go for it or just want to fund it.
Play of the game so far. It's Seneca Wallace. He should have it. Of course, it's going to depend upon the spot, but it looks like the linesman on the far side gives it to him inside the 28. If it's inside the 28, he's got it.
Joel, it's first down.
After the last call, I believe.
I believe you, Artie. He got the first down. He slipped off the tackle. We're going to have a measurement.
Well, he didn't get...
Hold on.
Well, you know what? The linesman came in inside the 28, but the ball is spotted outside the 28. McCartney's got a legitimate right.
Hold your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. It's a photo finish. We have a photo finish.
He's got it. Nose of the football. Drive is alive. It's 6 minutes long and counting. And Iowa State desperate for a touchdown to make it a 10-point ball game.
Take a look at Mickey Andrews there, the defensive coordinator. Doesn't like it. Had a great defense in the year 2000. They slipped by Florida State standards a year ago. This is a rebound year for this Florida State defense also.
So many young players last year, Artie.
Absolutely.
Seneca Wallace out of the gun. Spreads the defense. Throwing the shortstop. And the reception is good on the far side to Jack Whitford. He gets a little more than 9, make it more than 8 on that. You know, years ago, Iowa State wouldn't be in a position to even take this game. Let's face it, after what happened in the 90s. So it's been dramatic over the last 3-4 years what McCartney has done.
For them to have a quarterback like Seneca Wallace out of Sacramento, who originally signed with Oregon, I do believe.
Oregon State.
Oregon State, signed with Oregon State, had some problems up there, came back with a junior college, then came out to Ames, Iowa, and he's just been a great find for them.
Lockwood slithering his way inside the 10. First and goal, Iowa State, believe it or not. Boy, does he have great vision, though. The way he finds it, if he needs to go sideways through the hole, he'll do it.
There's a Missouri Tiger right there. Steve Bricky doing a great job calling these plays. Little action here. You see the motion coming across. Just give it to Rutland. That's helmet on helmet. A little holding there with offensive lineman, but it's not called. It's not a foul, is it, Artie?
Nope, not if it's not called.
First and goal, Iowa State. Rutland again. Big hole up the middle. Rutland banging his way down to the 1. 6 even, 210 pounds, and he's taking on tacklers.
Offensive line, wonderful job. It's a wonderful job.
Arrowhead ready to explode. Florida State, they should be in this position. They've got 17 starters back this year. Everybody in the offensive line, everybody on the defensive line, and a timeout has been taken. Florida State calls it for defensive purposes. 2:57 left in the third.
Hey, want to party over at our house?
Yes!
Great, we'll play some games. Grab a bite to eat. Oh, invite your friend.
Off of Rutland in a tight formation in the eye. Rutland going over the top. Nothing doing. 3rd and goal, right around the 1.
Now, one of the negatives about having a spread offense is when you've got to go to a goal line situation and be more of a power running team, you can't do it. Right there, you saw the 3 tight end offense by Iowa State. Now, the other day in practice, they practiced a tremendous amount of options in these situations. I think it's going to be an option to the right of the formation, away from the split end here.
Little bootleg action, we'll see if Seneca Wallace tries it. In the eye, with 1 wide receiver. Wallace will keep it. Wanted to get the tight end, who was held up. Wallace in trouble. There's the footwork we've been talking about. He's going to run out of racing room. Great pursuit by Florida State. It looked like they tried to look for the tight end over to the right side.
He tried to look for the tight end, but he got held up, unable to release. On that play, the tight end is supposed to block down like he's going to be a running play, and then slip into the flat. Just didn't get off the ball.
The defensive line, though, by Florida State is in the backfield. They do an excellent job of coming up the field and putting immediate pressure on Wallace. And then, obviously, it's a foot race into the backfield. Great swarm that time by the guys in the white jerseys.
Kendall Pope, number 9, the outside linebacker, speed backer.
33-yard attempt from Adam Beneke, up and on its way, and it's good. His first career field goal as an Iowa State Cyclone, a young man who transferred from Rochester Community College in Minnesota. So after the long drive that started back at their own 5, at least Iowa State gets something out of it. 31-17, Florida State. 19 plays on the drive that started back at their own 5. But at least Iowa State got 3. What they did, though, was take away some of the potential possessions they could have in the 4th quarter. Held onto it for better than 10 minutes. Beneke got his first career field goal, and it's a 14-point ball game. Jelk will kick it away. Gardner, Reed, waiting. Calvin Gardner, will he bring it out 5 deep? No. Let's head downstairs, check in with Eric Clemens. Eric.
All right, guys, thank you very much. You know, Iowa State is very serious about the Heisman candidacy of their quarterback, Seneca Wallace. You saw all his skills, and they've allocated $10,000 to a campaign to promote him. Seneca's face on the Sphinx at the pyramids of Giza there, his poster on the Eiffel Tower, and even on the Leaning Tower of Pizza. $10,000 can go a long way with a little computer graphics, huh, guys?
Right now, he'd rather have 7 than 3, and you can see the disappointment after that long drive, Eric. Now, Florida State with the ball for only the 2nd time in the 2nd half. And Ricks throwing it short of Robert Morgan. Now, we're talking about the studio next week. College Football Saturday presented right here on Fox Sports Net. Iowa State needs to take the ball away. Needs to create a turnover. Jones can't get away. Gain of a little more than a yard, and now a crucial 3rd down for Florida State. They're 6 of 10 so far on 3rd down drives.
And Florida State a little bit out of rhythm because they were on the sidelines for so long. They're cold. They need to get that sweat going again, which they need to do on this drive. But that's why they're sputtering here.
This is a huge home field advantage for Iowa State.
Huge.
There's 60,000 here, and I guess there's about 45 to 50 for the Cyclones. 3 wide receivers set for Ricks out of the gun. 3rd, almost 9. Looking for his man out of the backfield. Now Ricks will have to pick it up himself. Gets a great block downfield and gets the 1st down. What a block by Nick Maddox.
Heads-up play by Maddox. He was out in the flat, didn't get the ball, came back, made the defender stop, and Ricks did a great job of getting to the outside. Take a look at Maddox here in the pocket. He's stepping back here. Iowa State rushing forward, a little stunt there, bringing the guy to the outside. He feels the pressure, steps up into the pocket, then makes a quick decision. This is the key right here. He makes a quick decision where he's going to go, and his teammates can help him as he gets the 1st down.
Big yardage on 3rd and just about 9. Ricks checking off at the line. On the play fake. Bolden has a ton of room. Boy, did he push the defensive back all the way 5-6 yards off him. It's a first down for Florida State.
And once again, it was the unbalanced formation. And when you're in an unbalanced formation, Patrick Hughes, the tight end, is ineligible. So you get an extra blocker on the perimeter, and as a result, more time to throw the ball.
Will they get another snap before the end of the quarter? No. So the third quarter goes by, and believe it or not, Florida State did not score a single point after putting 31 on the board over the first 30 minutes of play. Only 3 between the two, and that was Beneke's 33-yard field goal. So Iowa State getting it back together, but still a long road. Trailing by 14 after 3. Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, the 5th annual Eddie Robinson Kickoff Classic. And welcome back once again. Staples' total yardage numbers were only 60 yards, believe it or not, in the third quarter for Florida State.
The momentum now is starting to shift in this game to Iowa State. But they need to stop here. They got to get the ball back, and they got to go score again.
Well,
because, as we know, there's only 15 minutes left in the game.
Not many possessions left. They might have to create a turnover. And that's the difference in the game right now. The 2 they gave away in the first half. First and 10, Ricks doesn't like what he sees from the defensive front. On the quick out, it's an interception. Picked off. T. Boston, will he go? Hit from behind. All the way to the 25. They had to create the turnover, and a T. Boston timed it perfectly.
The little guy.
Here's Chris Ricks. Watch him drop that ball and come a little bit to the side, Artie. Did you see that? That's why that ball was picked off. That's just enough of delay for a defensive back to make a break. That's a long throw. Let's take a look from another angle here. Watch this ball drop down and come from the side. There's nothing consistent about this motion once he's got to work on this. Look at that. That's a long delivery. He's got to bring that thing over the top. That's a completion. He brings it over the top.
You know what? I just think it was a great play by a defensive back, knowing what play was coming.
Timing.
He knew what play was coming.
You can't throw that ball in high school that far across the field. Anybody will pick that ball off.
You guys bookmark things, don't you? It's an end around. Lane Danielson with a little jitterbug. They create 5-6. Keep it up. He may go the distance. Pulled down from behind. He made a miss at the line of scrimmage. Finally, Osei got him in the secondary, but it didn't look like much was available to the short side of the field to begin with until he gave that little shoulder fake.
On the last drive that Iowa State had, they had been faking the ball to Lane Danielson and hitting up inside with the zone play. This time, they fake the zone play and give the ball to the junior from Dike, Iowa, and he goes around and obviously makes a huge play.
First and goal from the 9. So gain of 16 on the run. Rutland cracked immediately. Almost no gain on the carry, plugging the hole in a hurry. The senior from Denver, Tony Benford.
When you're faking the ball up inside and the counter man is coming around like a wide receiver is coming around, it has a tendency to freeze the defense a little bit. That time, however, Florida State's defensive front did an excellent job, led by that man, Tony Benford, of getting up the field and creating havoc on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Rutland's is single again. The tight end in motion. Second and goal. Rutland in the delay. Bouncing, spinning, and he's down inside the 1. What an effort. So it'll be third and goal, inches away for Hiawatha Rutland.
You see Dan McCartney on the sidelines talking to Marty Fine, his offensive line coach, conversing on what play to run here. Obviously a huge play. Obviously a big change in this game if the Cyclones can get into the end zone.
And this time they will not take that ball off the line of scrimmage. If they do, it's going to be an all-out bootleg, but it won't be a fake pass.
Third and goal. Another tight formation, the jumbo look. And a missed handoff. Wallace will have to do it himself, and he does!
That That was the option, wasn't it, Artie?
Yeah, that was the option I was talking about.
Seneca Wallace showing the fake, taking it himself. A new ball game.
There's Coach Bowden walking the sideline, got that headset on, working that gum. He knows they're in a battle right now.
The first points off a turnover for Iowa State, and they had to have it. Big extra point for Adam Beneke. 7-point ball game. Do you believe it? Florida State up 31-7 at one point in this contest. 17 unanswered now for Iowa State. Turnarounds you will ever see in college football. A preseason number 3, a potential national championship team, up 31-7. And now, Iowa State, a doormat for so long in the 90s, making a run at superpower Florida State. And we're only 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. Back deep for the Seminoles, Talman Gardner, Willie Reed. Disbelief right now on the Florida State sideline. The guys from the upper Midwest living large at this moment. Yelp kicks it away. Tries to pin him to the boundary. It'll be Gardner from the 3. What a great directional kick. He's out of bounds right across the 20. To perfection by Yelp on the kickoff. Our doctor's game summary. In the 7-point ball game, the difference right now, the turnovers early. The interception returned for a touchdown by Alonzo Jackson. That was on a screenplay. And the fumble on the kickoff return by Jamal Montgomery as they recovered it and took it from the 10 and got a 3-yard touchdown to Anquan Bolden. Greg Jones is the single. Jones breaking tackles. Great job for 5. And don't forget what happened in the last 65 seconds of the first down. First, a 10-yard touchdown run by Jones, and then Iowa State made the most of the opportunity and got a touchdown to the big tight end, Kyle Knott, with 9 seconds left in the half.
Absolutely. You know, somebody right now might question why Florida State is running the ball and not throwing. I think Coach Bowden wants to settle his young quarterback down and settle his offense down a little bit, and you do that by running the ball.
2nd and 5. Jones, clip. He got hit on the side by the defensive back coming in, and what did he bolt in from the outside? Tyson Smith.
Iowa State is just up at the line of scrimmage. They have just lost respect for Florida State's ability to go deep on them, to throw the football on them. They are up in the box, 9, 10 guys looking for the tailback.
Well, you take a look at the yards here in the second half, 124 for Iowa State, almost double of what, or it is double of what Florida State has produced. Florida State is obviously going to throw the football here.
3rd and 3. 3 wide receivers. No tight end in the formation and 2 in the backfield. Ricks finds a wide open Robert Morgan. He's got a first down across the 40. Clutch on 3rd and 3. Biggest third down of the game for Florida State.
Morgan is the split end. We've talked about him coming back from an injury. You're going to see Ricks in the pocket here. He's got excellent protection with 2 backs. But watch him run a curl here behind the linebackers. Iowa State is playing cover 2. There's a void between the safeties and the linebackers. He finds the seam, perfectly executed against the cover 2 defensive scheme.
That's a pretty good read by a senior wide receiver.
Great job by Morgan to sit it down and give Ricks a chance to get the ball to him, but excellent catch he made on the adjustment.
Nick Maddox, the other one to the backfield. Empty quickly. And they'll set up the screen for the wide receiver. Talman Gardner, not much. Only the 45, a gain of about 3. Matt Ward punished him at the end of the play. What pursuit by Matt Word.
Word, I tell you, the senior from Miami is working hard tonight. He wants to beat this Florida State team. He's on the inside here. He's looking downfield, moving, following the play. Just gets up off the ground. I mean, just down and back up and makes a play. That's a heady play by a senior. That's leadership. That's desire.
7-point lead for the Seminoles. Inside of 10.5 to play. Got a 2nd and 7. Bolt, and what a run. Nick Maddox. He was a shot in the arm in the first half. Brought down by Mark Timmons in the secondary.
Matt Ward this time misses his chance. He steps up into the bucket there and doesn't make the play. They're in a 4-3 scheme. He starts to his right. He shuffles to his left, but he tries the arm tackle there. You got to accelerate through the runner and keep shuffling and keep your shoulders square. He turned an arm tackle and didn't make it.
Couple of critical first downs for Florida State.
Keep this drive alive, calm down Chris Ricks, get them back in the flow, get control of this ball game.
It's Maddox on the short side of the field, and they slowed him down. Turning him in at the outset of the play was Brandon Brown. He made it the weak side backer.
And he's having a big game. I like what Iowa State's doing on defense. We talked about how fast Florida State is, but you take a look at number 33, the sophomore out of Houston. He is flying all over this field today also.
No points on the board yet in the second half for Florida State.
Which is really unusual. When was the last time they have been shut out in a quarter, let alone a half?
They've got better than 200 yards rushing after the last one. Changing things up. Sophomore quarterback, Chris Ricks. He's in trouble. Great footwork. And he gets close to a first down. He's knocked out of bounds inside the 40. At about the 37. Shy of the marker. Shy of that first down by about 4.
And he wanted to throw the ball to the outside to his wide receiver because Iowa State was in a loose 3-deep coverage. But as he turned to throw it out there, the corner crept up a little bit, which is a result, Kellen. Ricks tucked the ball and took off and ran. Jeff Bowden's doing a good job with this offense, dealing with a young quarterback.
Florida State utilizing another timeout. They only have 1 remaining in the game.
Him, even though you may be meeting him for the first or second time. He's had such a positive impact on young people's lives. College football is a much better sport because of Eddie Robinson, and he's left a legacy for all of us and a great example for all of us to look up to for years to come.
Joe, while you and Artie were prepping for the game, I was hanging out with Coach Rob, having a little bite to eat, and I asked him about Coach McCartney at Iowa State. He said he just loves the way he's turned that program around, and he wishes him well in the future. He thinks he's going to be a Florida State-type program there.
Florida State now looking at a 3rd and 4. They've hit on 75% of their third down tries. Spread the defense again out of the gun. Here comes the blitz. Ricks buys times. He's got in back over. Won't get there though.
Joel, it was a safety blitz again with Mark Timmons coming off the weak side. Obviously, Ricks read it, dumped the ball off to a secondary receiver inside. But I'll tell you, the pressure that time by the Iowa State defense was the key. John Spaldani, the defensive coordinator, really doing an excellent job of mixing up the blitzes, the zone blitzes, and just the cover zones.
Florida State's going to go for it, but they waited so long to make a decision to go for it. Now 9 seconds left to go. I'm not sure they get a chance to get it off.
4 and a little more than a yard. The power formation for Florida State. Jones slides his way for the first down. Did most of it by himself. And he went through the hole sideways and then backwards.
That's what Florida State's got to watch out for. They got caught early with the delay of game. Artie, what did you see here?
Well, Jones up inside, but watch what happens. Iowa State guys are coming flying up the field. And you see number 18, Timmons there. He wakes a little bit in the hole. You got to come up and attack that a little bit more. It's really hard to keep somebody under 1 yard, though.
Huge pickup by Jones. Make that cut back and pick up that first down. Good vision.
Could be the backbreaker of the game for Iowa State. Play fake. Ricks wide open. It's Gardner, and he can't hold on to the 5.
Artie, he's got to stop dropping that arm. He throws that ball. The ball sails. When you do that, it makes it more difficult for the receiver to pick it up. Gardner should have caught that. Maybe should have caught that ball, but here comes the play.
Guys, but let me tell you this. The Florida State receivers have not had a lot of contact last spring and this fall because of the injuries that happened a year ago to Morgan and Bolden. And as a result now, they're catching the ball in traffic and in contact, and they're not holding on to it because of a lack of scrimmage time. I believe that.
2nd and 10 outside of the 30.
Let the tight end. Give it to him.
Ricks going for Bolden. Touchdown, Florida State. Anquan Bolden. He worked against Dennis Hobbs. Ricks took a shot at the end, and there is a flag down in the end zone.
Holding or roughing the passer. Great play by Bolden. Flag in the end zone also.
That's where the height advantage for Florida State. Bolden is 6'2", Hobbs 5'7", really came into play.
We talked earlier about Florida State, the inability to use the ball over the middle of the field. The tight end was wide open. He was wide open already early. Ricks looked right past him.
2 fouls on the defense. Pass interference on the defense. That penalty's going to be refused. Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. That penalty will be accepted. The trial comes from the 1.5 yard.
Yeah, the roughing the passer first, but what a job to get it off.
You know, quarterbacks sometimes have to pay the price, and you're going to see an example of it right here. Just getting leveled by Jordan Karstens, number 92.
Way late.
Yeah, way late, and 300 pounds coming down on the 6'4", 210-pound Ricks.
He got the ball out there and did what he was supposed to, give the receiver a chance to make a play. And with this size advantage, Artie, we've been asking all day, why haven't you done this?
15 yards on the kickoff.
It'll be on the kickoff. And what about the play all night long, though? 2nd touchdown reception for Anquan Bolden, a guy that missed all of last season with a torn ACL. He looks like he's all the way back early.
And we talked about him being a quarterback. He's an excellent athlete. We saw it there.
Bethea with the extra point. So Ricks took the hit, but found Bolden in the end zone. Breathing room now for Florida State, on top by 14. Now, Iowa State down by 14 as we welcome you back to Arrowhead. 8:14 to play. It'll be Michael Wagner. Just shy of the 10-yard line, so 90 yards to the end zone for Iowa State. If they can get there, though, don't forget they still have all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
And the pressure's on the quarterback, Seneca Wallace here. He's got to make a play either by throwing the ball or utilizing his feet in terms of scrambling around. Do you know how he got his name, Joel? Seneca Wallace? His mom named him after a soap opera actor from Ryan's Hope, a guy by the name of Seneca Bolak, because his mom wanted him to be a doctor, and that guy was a doctor on the soap opera. That's why he's named Seneca.
Research, Artie, just research.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
You are the best.
From the 9-yard line. I got to do more homework to catch up with you guys. Wagner cracked on the spin, maybe 3 at the most. Jarrell Hudson, the middle linebacker, the senior from Homestead, Florida. On that stick. Well, you had the feeling, even with Florida State going and marching down the field like they did, taking almost 5 minutes off the clock, the 80-yard drive, regardless of the outcome of this game, Dan McCarney can now say to his team, hey, wait a minute, we're down 31-7 against one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the nation. And it works. 2nd and 7. Middle of the field, Lane Danielson. He's got a first down across the 20.
Coaches will tell you that there are no moral victories, but to have a showing like this on national television in front of a national audience for Iowa State to be playing with Florida State in the 4th quarter, that's the next step for this Iowa State program, Artie, is to beat a ranked team and to beat them in front of a national audience.
And this man right here, this football team reflects this man's determination and his personality and his perseverance that he's going to make Iowa State football good and very competitive, and he has.
Rattling hurdling the tackle. Gets about 3, and you guys touched on it a little bit in the first half. Remember, it's going to be a very difficult year for Iowa State, as much as they have Seneca Wallace. They've got in the preseason polls number 2 Oklahoma, number 3 tonight Florida State, number 4 Texas, number 7 Colorado, 10th ranked Nebraska, and besides those 5, they've also got road games with Kansas State and Iowa. Play at home as well against Texas Tech. It'll be interesting. Second and about 8. The out, and it was an in. As Montgomery turned in, so it became a ball that wasn't catchable. Wrong route was run. Or the quarterback mixed up, one or the other, because Seneca Wallace thought it was an out.
You know, you talk about that schedule. Iowa State is the only team in the Big 12, as you see the upcoming games, that plays Colorado, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas. Nobody else in the league plays those 4 teams except Iowa State.
They've got to get a better agent.
And I asked him the other day, what do you think of the schedule? He said, well, they ought to put the Oakland Raiders and the Vikings on it too.
They might beat the Vikings.
3rd and 8 with 6:24 to play. Underneath, Hiawatha Rutland.
You know, Artie,
Close to the 30, and they'll have to go for it, down by 14. Michael Boulware on the hit.
what we're not seeing tonight, which I thought we might see, is the old Florida State defense, where those defensive ends are coming upfield, putting pressure on the quarterback. They really missed that last year. Their sacks were down 2/3 from the total the previous year in 2001.
Yeah, they had 45 in 2000. They had 15 a year ago.
2/3. I mean, that production, they can't win a national championship with that type of
I agree. I totally agree.
A decision for Iowa State, and they need a timeout. We'll come back to Kansas City.
A power that can find
lead for Florida State in the driver's seat with 5:59 left, and they can wrap it up right now, in fact, because Iowa State is going to go for it on 4th and a yard from their own 30. Florida State stops it. It is all but over.
But you got to go for it here.
Without a doubt.
Obviously,
Without
it's
a doubt.
just a matter of what the selection in the play call is.
Seneca Wallace is going to come to the line, make some hard counts, try to draw them offside.
You know what, Kellen?
Run the play.
I don't think so. I think it might be the option again, because this is the formation they've been running the option in last year and in practice.
It'll be a fake on the edge. Seneca Wallace, little pop pass, wide open, the tight end. First down, but the ball is popped out, and it'll go out of bounds. A break for Iowa State. Kenny Segan, the sophomore from Ankeny, Iowa, with his first catch of the season. Not a bad time for it.
Ricky, offensive coordinator.
Great play call here on the bottom as you see Sagan come across the field. Excellent footwork and ball handling by Seneca Wallace, and the timing of this thing was just absolutely perfect, and that's some guts there. Watch that defender, number 10, Stanford Samuels, just jar the ball out. That's called good pursuit and thinking about turnovers.
Turnovers, get the ball to the middle, but a gutsy call by Steve Bricky, the offensive coordinator for Iowa State.
And the right call. That's great.
And a Missouri Tiger.
And a Missouri Tiger.
Still hope for the Iowa State Cyclones. From the 39 of Florida State, going for the home run ball with Montgomery, and it's batted away. What a job by Samuels.
What a play.
What a job. What a timing play by the junior from Miami.
You know, Samuels is a guy who was talking during the summer that he wants to be like Deion Sanders or Terrell Buckley. He keeps making plays like that. He'll be in their category. And Kellen, he was the most valuable player for the defense this spring at Florida State.
But it depends on his wardrobe. He wants to be like Deion. Now, who's his tailor?
Hey, trust me on this one. He runs fast enough on the field. The rest of that stuff will take care of itself.
That was a big-time play.
Big-time play.
3 wide receivers for Wallace out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Now Wallace with a wide one did a good job. That was almost by him on the snap. Seneca Wallace, a positive, but he's knocked out of bounds after only a yard, if that. He may be out right at the 39, but it was a low line drive snap.
I think you're right, Joel. I don't think he had control of the ball, and he was bobbling it a little bit to the side there.
To the right.
And as a result, he obviously didn't get total possession of the ball.
Gutsy performance by Iowa State. Seneca Wallace not quitting, teammates not quitting.
Right. Zach Butler right there, the emotional leader of this team, the heart and captain, returning starter.
That was a fastball low and away.
Left-handed or right-handed?
Our man Zach, when he's in shotgun, he's going left-handed.
Lefty, southpaw. Now, third and a little more than 10. Show the blitz and back off. Just a three-man rush. Plenty of time for Wallace. He's got Montgomery. Iowa State.
Do you believe?
Iowa State simply won't go away. The end of a 91-yard drive. That's how much they want this. Big one coming up for Beneke. Not Tex Beneke, but Adam Beneke. To make it a 7-point margin. And it's a game once again. Plenty of time left. 5:26 remaining.
The ball is in the air. Montgomery does a tremendous job of running through the ball. He obviously split the seam. It was a 3-deep zone. He ran right down the middle of it. The ball was delivered perfectly. Touchdown. B.J. Ward, the free safety, already got out of position. When Seneca Wallace broke protection, B.J. Ward, the free safety, lost his position and let the receiver get behind him and had to try to make up for that yardage. Couldn't do it.
We remind you the Eddie Robinson College Football Saturday's kickoff show at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Net. More than we could have bargained for at 31-7, and that's how many Florida State led by early. They were up by 24. Jones can't get outside, but stiff arms nicely for an extra yard or two. He's got it to the 27 for a gain of 4. Lewis was the man he was fending off with a straight stiff arm.
Gutty performance, gutty swarming by the Cyclone defense. You need about 3 guys to bring this guy down. Thunder, as they call Greg Jones, is difficult to bring down. But when you got about 4 red shirts around them, it makes the job easier. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm looking at this Florida State offensive line. They're lollygagging around a little bit. They don't seem as fired up, Calvin, as they were at the beginning of this game. They better get some zip back.
See if the Seminoles keep it on the ground. It's a gain of a little more than 5. Jones again, big hit. He's got it across the 40 and a first down. As we mentioned, his size a big factor. Just look at him. He's about 250. Brought down finally in the secondary by Brandon Brown.
Greg Jones takes the ball off the right side. It's a good old-fashioned power play, and there is no Cyclone defender there. Obviously, Iowa State, not obviously, but they were in stunt that time, and as a result, the hole opened up. The linebacker, Matt Ward, did not get there. Now he's got, Greg Jones does, over 100 yards tonight.
For the
109.
third consecutive game going back to last season. Jones bouncing. And then Bulldog down on his back, Teef Austin.
Heady up play by Jones to stay in bounds, get that clock running, get this game over with. This is a drive that's a gut check for Florida State. They've got to come out here and establish themselves. Because right now, other teams are watching this game and saying, hey, we can beat these guys.
And I think it's smart by the coaching staff to run the football here and make the offensive line get going. Because as I said, they're kind of walking around slowly here. But if you run the ball, you force them to get off the ball. You force them to go hard. And that's what Coach Bowden and his son Jeff Bowden are doing right now.
Second, just about 6. Brown, will he be able to turn the corner? No! Torpedoed by Jermaine Phillips, a young man who made the move from running back to safety this year. And there is a flag down on the play right at the original line.
Jermaine Phillips had a big hit earlier. This is the guy who was moved from the offensive side of the ball, running back, over to safety.
Big mark off, personal foul. If it's 5, maybe you think about taking the play, but 15, you take the penalty.
Absolutely. I don't think there's a decision there for Iowa State.
The offense late hit. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Third down.
And Bobby will not like this because it's a lack, quote, of discipline on your football team.
It's frustration is what it is, Artie. You take a shot at a guy who's probably been up in your face all day long, who's been like a pest around you. You've been trying to get rid of him, but Iowa State just keeps hanging around, causing Florida State problems, forcing them to make mistakes. And this is what this is. They've got to get themselves together. Florida State I'm talking about, pull themselves together if they're going to be considered a top 10 team and move this ball down the field.
Hey, Kellen,
here we go,
the top
guys.
10. They're going to win.
Here we go. And it was a dead ball foul on a late hit, so it's third down and 21. Three-man rush. Ricks. Tyson Smith, the right end.
Ooh.
Things are warming up in Kansas City.
Do you feel the pressure?
You can feel the excitement.
Do you feel the pressure?
I feel overtime, maybe.
Chris Ricks had no reason to come out of that pocket except for the fact he was trying to force something to happen. Here's Florida State. They can't get lined up on special teams.
Waiting back deep, Todd Miller for Iowa State. Welty gets into it and sends out a beauty. Miller needs a block. Gets one. Nice return as he's hit around the shoulder pads. Up to the 35, so 65 yards away from the tie for Iowa State.
And the momentum here is all in Iowa State's behalf. The crowd is in Iowa State's behalf. You take a look at this record, 0-29 against ranked teams since 1993. Well, they got a chance to put a 1 in front of that if they can score here and then kick it in regulation or get it to overtime.
Remember now, Iowa State did beat Florida State back in 1975, 10-6.
In Tallahassee,
In Tallahassee, of course. It was before Bobby Bowden came from West Virginia.
and I was still in high school, so I didn't care.
You're in high school. You're in your 10th year as a senior.
Danielson, the motion man, and a bad snap. Danielson trying to make something out of nothing. It's a loss back to the 28, though. Great penetration by the big man, Kevin Emanuel. Otherwise, Danielson may be able to get back to the line.
And you know, the offensive coach is Steve Bricky from Iowa State. He's got a tough decision here. What do? Do you take the clock and say, okay, we're going to drive the ball, run the ball, throw it, or do you just air it out?
Snap a little bit better this time. Wallace on the edge, and Hiawatha Rutland back to the original line. So it's going to be third and about 10. Brought down by Kendall Pope, the junior from Fort White, Florida.
Now you got to remember here, Joel and Kellen, you got 2 plays to get the first down. You're going to go for it on 4th down.
But the clock is running you down to 1:46.
No,
you better do it quickly.
No, I know,
still have 2 timeouts.
But you have 2 plays here is what I'm saying. So get 5 or 6 and then get the other 5 or 6.
On third and a little less than 10. Quick out. Hooker's got the first down. The drive and the game is still alive for Iowa State. He pushed back Samuels, the corner on that side.
There's no pass rush. Nobody's in Seneca Wallace's face. This is not the Florida State defense that we thought we would see this year based on their performance last year. They haven't even come close to this kid.
The executive producer of Fox Sports Net is Bill Borson. Coordinating producers, College Football Saturday, Roy Hamilton, Gary Garcia. Tonight's game produced by Mike Kelly, directed by Ken Fout. Senior Vice President, Field Operations, Andrea Berry. And the Vice President of Field Operations is Karen Newman. First and 10, Iowa State. The short stuff on the slam. And Montgomery has a pass interference call made on Rufus Brown. That'll stop the clock and save a timeout. Minute 29 left.
It's the slant pattern. We talked about it before. It's usually either complete or pass interference because the defensive back, if he lets him inside the receiver, is in an awkward position.
He put his hand on his back.
Pass interference on the defense. Spot foul.
That's what they're calling. Got his hand all over his back.
Now, food for thought down the road. If you get into the end zone, do you think about 2 instead of overtime?
In a second, yes, but here's Rufus Brown just all over him. That's an excellent call by the officials. I think you go for 1, Joel, to answer your question and go to overtime. You can't take that chance and lose the game by not making 2.
From the 43 of Florida State. Wallace again out of the gun. Blitz coming off the edge. There's a pass for Whitford, and he took it away. from the defensive back, Leroy Smith. It was up for grabs. Whitford played the angles well.
Florida State goes into wholesale changes on that front defensive line. They're not getting any pressure with those guys. They're going to try another 4.
And only 3. Down to a minute to play. Hiawatha Rutland. And now you better use a timeout. So they tried to fool him on a quick inside play. And Iowa State does call timeout with 54 seconds remaining. It's 3rd and about 6. Well, the expectations for the Florida State Seminoles, with a little fun with head coach Bobby Bowden, especially a lot of fun when we heard his response.
Win it all. That's our goal, is to win it all. It's been our goal for 15 years. We've come close for 15 years, too, except last year. But when you're in the top 4 every year, I mean, that means if it's basketball, you'd be in the finals every year, And so our people, I mean, you think I can go up to my alumni and say, we're number 3. We want to be number 4. We want to be number 2. It's 1. It's 1.
You cannot help but love that guy. He is such a fun person to be around.
He's great for college football, and when he retires, and hopefully not very soon, we are all going to miss him from this great game.
And he has no intentions of retiring soon. He says based on his health, he's in great shape. He's lost weight. He feels great. He loves being around the young kids. They energize him.
And he's so fired up this year, guys. He's come down from the tower during practice and actually gotten on the practice field, something he hasn't done in the last 5 or 6 years. So he is really making everybody be a little bit more competitive down in Tallahassee.
All right, what do they have out of the timeout? 3rd and a little more than 5. 2 snaps to get it. Otherwise, it's Florida State's game. Timeout remaining for each team. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Montgomery's got the first down. That'll stop the clock. It's outside of the 32. 1st and 10. Samuels got there in a hurry, but Montgomery knew where he needed to go.
And another thing that the defensive line of Florida State is not doing, look at their hands when they rush the passer. They're all down. Seneca Wallace is 6 feet tall at the most. Get your hands up. Try to knock the ball down. They all have their hands down by their sides.
Wallace gonna be hit from behind, and now they'll use their final timeout. What a sack by the young man that took it back for a score. Alonzo Jackson returned an interception, 48 yards in the first half.
And I was just going to make a comment. What a great job the Iowa State offensive line is doing tonight. But that time, Jackson came around the corner on a speed rush and obviously got the sack. But going back to the Iowa State offensive line, they got 2 guys starting the offensive line that have never played offense in a regular game. You're going to see Jackson, who's one of the better athletes on the team, come around the corner on the right side here. He's just going to come up the field and beat Casey Sheldon and come underneath him or around him. Excellent job by Alonzo Jackson. He was given an award this spring as the most dominating player on both sides of the ball in spring practice.
Big play. They needed that. Seneca Wallace has not been pressured at all in the second half. He's set back there in the pocket and has picked them apart as they play that soft zone. He's taken the big shot and he's taken what they've given him underneath.
I know you're getting on Florida State's defensive line a little bit, but Jeff Womble, one of their starters, defensive tackles, was suspended and he's going to miss 2 games. So he was the guy that would have helped their pass rush inside.
He was a guy who's good against the run.
Right, and one guy doesn't make that much
difference. Have not gotten the field, and we know the history of Florida State and their defensive ends.
2nd and 17. Seneca Wallace and the Cyclones out of timeouts, trying to use the boundary, and it's incomplete. Now you've got to start thinking about the end zone as well with 28 seconds to play.
Good call, Joel, because that time Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, lined up with 3 rush men, 6 underneath cover guys, and 2 deep cover guys. There was nowhere to throw the football underneath. No rush, but nowhere to throw it underneath.
Just want to keep them right in front of you. They need a touchdown to get it back into this ball game, so don't give it up. Don't do what you did at the end of the first half. You can't give up a score.
295 yards passing for Seneca Wallace on 21 of 32. Can he get it done? He's got a good lane to look through, and he's got Lane Danielson. He's close to a first down. I believe he's got it. That'll stop the clock. He does have it. He stops it with 21 seconds to play. A 7-point ball game. Carter and Hudson converging late.
Huge throw. Great throw by Seneca Wallace. Sits there in the pocket, picks out his guy, just threads the needle between two linebackers.
He's losing seconds now. Still a 3-man rush. Wallace eludes the pressure. He's going to get the first down to stop the clock again. Gets a block. Will he find the end zone? No. He's knocked out of bounds at the 1.
Oh, boy.
What a run.
4 seconds left to go. A huge block downfield by a wide receiver. I hope we have the replay.
What an amazing run. And did he get the football to the end zone as he went parallel to the ground.
He's in bounds. Oh, awful close. Awful close.
In NFL, we might have to take a look at that one.
We would be a replay. Obviously, here's the play of the year.
Will we go to
right
overtime or not? Rutland in the eye. The option. Wallace has a crease. Doesn't get there. It's over and Florida State prevails. What a stop by the Seminoles.
Indecision. Indecision. He wasn't sure if he wanted to take it. That was a great angle by our camera crew. You could see the look on his face. He decided, I don't know if I want to get it. Then he went for it. It was too late.
And listen to these Iowa State Cyclone fans. Final snap of more than we could have ever asked for on opening night on Fox Sports Net. The last snap for Seneca Wallace and the Cyclones.
At practice the other day, this is all they worked on the goal line. You're going to see Wallace come down the line of scrimmage. Woodley, number 45, gives a block. But number 9, Kindo Pope, does a tremendous job of feathering the pitch and coming off on Wallace. Look at number 9 right there. That's an excellent job by him of basically taking away 2 components of the option. Outstanding defensive play by number 9, Kendall Pope.
An amazing conclusion to a phenomenal football game. 31-7 early. Florida State, only to see Iowa State come back and give them everything they wanted.
Gutsy performance by Seneca Wallace. This young man should keep his head up high. I mean, he just took this team, put it on his shoulders, and carried them almost down to victory. Dan McCartney, always being the professional coach, wants his guys to handle this with class, act like you've been there before.
Anquan Bolden, his first game in better than a year. Torn ACL last year, 7 catches, 2 scores. Our Dr. Pepper, player of the game. Let's check in one more time with Eric Clemens. Eric?
Bobby Bowden, well, you got off to a great start and had to hold on. Your assessment of this whole thing, they just never died, did they?
They would never die. The quarter. Congratulations. Hey, same to you and good luck to you. Their quarterback just, we're very lucky to win the darn game. Let's just say that.
What do you tell a team after a game like this? I mean, you get out top 31-7 and everybody thinks, hey, Florida State is looking really good. What happened? Did you guys let down a little?
No, we didn't. We didn't try to let down. We tried to win it, but we just were not sharp. They beat us to the punch. I thought they just did a better job of coaching and everything else than we did.
You still got the win, though, Coach. Congratulations.
Yeah, we got the win.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go back to Joel Myers. Joel?
Thank you, Eric. I know I, for one, will never, ever forget the opening of the 2002 college football season.
And the spark that's been given to this Iowa State football program will do them a lot of good all year long because they know they can compete.
This gives them something to build on next week when they play Kansas, a Big 12 North matchup. It's going to be a wonderful season for Iowa State.
So Florida State hangs on, and just barely, stopping Seneca Wallace inside the 1 on a final option roll. A 38-31 win in only the second matchup ever between these two teams. It is going to be an incredible year for college football on Fox Sports Net. Look forward to seeing Iowa State again next Saturday afternoon in Ames, matching up with the Kansas Jayhawks and their brand new head coach. It all comes your way. It starts at 11:30 Eastern. We'll have a doubleheader, college football Saturday kickoff show with Chris Rose, Kellen, and Artie, then at 12:30. It'll be Kansas, Iowa State at 6, Mississippi State taking on last year's Pac-10 champs, the Oregon Ducks. College Football Saturday has been a presentation of Fox Sports Net. Now, for Kellen Winslow, Artie Gigantino, and Eric Clemens, I'm Joel Myers. Thanks for joining us. A phenomenal finish as Florida State tops Iowa State. So long, everybody.
Coughing up cards. Easy. Magic wands.
He came oh so close, maybe closer than the refs thought. As we look at a replay, you will see what we're talking about. Maybe this game should have been tied up. There's space between Wallace's foot and out of bounds. Perhaps the mark was off. Perhaps Seneca Wallace should have been in. Perhaps this game should have been eventually all even. Instead, Bobby Bowden and his Florida